This year, I was out with Cam Percy and a lady, this was at Boca this year, a lady asked me, she came over and she says, "Oh, sorry, I thought you were Fred Couples." And I just went, yes. Yep, I must be looking good.
I am. Would you like me to sign anything?
I was wearing my hat, so she couldn't see the red hair.
Welcome back to Golf Subpar, Colt, Knost, and Drew Stoltz. And as always, this episode is brought to you by Fanatic Sportsbook. And when I bet, I like getting something back, even if I lose. That's why I bet with Fanatic Sportsbook. When I place a bet with them, I earn fan cash, win or lose. I can flip fan cash into bonus bets or use it for new team apparel on fanatics.com. Also, if you're a new customer, you'll get $200 in bonus bets when you sign up and bet $20 or more. Use code SUBPAR to claim it. Must be 21 years and older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Connecticut residents call 888-789-7777. Massachusetts residents call 800-327-5050. New York residents call 877-8-HOPE-NY. Maryland residents visit mdgamblinghelp.org. Sleaze, it was good to be in Cowtown, Fort Worth, your old stomping grounds. Everybody was asking about you down there.
Yeah, just you toss the name around?
Of course.
Get a lot of
TCU
shit
legend
comps.
Drew Stoltz,
That's
they
it.
say.
That's it. How they treat you down there.
It was an awesome
You're
week.
so much more of a Fort Worth guy than a Dallas guy, by the way.
Yeah, well.
When you think about it. Country music, T-shirts, you're not popping bottles, going to the club, doing all the Dallas shit.
That sounds like Coach Monagale topic of conversation.
Well, that you didn't
Wild
go to
Bill,
Fort Worth?
you know,
Hey, I mean, he had an eye for talent.
Maybe I wouldn't look good in purple.
He had a hell of an eye
Probably
for
would have
talent.
done, but it was
Tell you
awesome,
that.
man. Colonial was great. We had a firm, windy, bouncy golf course where the scores weren't crazy low. I got a chance to go over to Shady Oaks and play it since Jeff Ogilvy and his team redid it. Fantastic property.
So good
Just an
down
awesome
there.
day. Played with the great Ian Baker Finch.
Oh, nice.
My old teammate James Minahan joined us. We had a blast out there. The SMU bag got a couple of weird looks,
How's
I'll be honest.
IBF's game?
I mean, it's solid.
Rock solid?
Yeah, hits it.
Yeah, you bring
pretty
that SMU
straight.
bag out there.
Yeah.
You get what you get.
But no, we
Place
had,
is sweet, though, isn't
we had
it?
a great time.
Shady's
Shady's
so
great.
good.
By the way, they've
So
redone
good.
the golf course. They like the men's grill, locker room, everything. It's
The Little
unbelievable.
Nine is awesome. They had a great caddy player tournament out there. I heard there was $100,000 up there. Didn't Eckroat?
No, $100,000 purse. The winners were Ben Coles and his caddy.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they're
Benny
cleaning
Coles
up.
just cleaning
Cleaning
up out there.
Mm-hmm.
But Colonial, man, Ben Griffin, all of a sudden, a guy that you might not think about being one of the best players in the world, up to 26th in the world ranking. He's top 5 in the FedEx Cup standings now after his second win of the year. Didn't make a birdie his last 16 holes on Sunday, but he didn't need it. Ended up winning by 1 over Matty Schmidt.
About 13th in the Ryder Cup standings right now. Not a name you would have had after Rome last time for the next team. By the way, with his partner from Zurich where they won, Andrew Novak, too. He's well
8th.
Inside right now. There's a chance. He looked really good, obviously. The golf course played hard. I loved how it played Sunday. I'm still not sold on some of the renovation. There's some things that it's just different, right? Like 14, the no bunkers down the left. Everyone's just blowing it down there. Had a wide open shot. They need some of those trees to grow up and things like that. And there's a few others, 13 with the water, really not coming into play. It's different, definitely. You can play the ball on the ground, run it up a lot easier, but I didn't know Ben Griffin, I saw him hit 185 mile an hour ball speed. He moves it way more than I ever thought. And he's 13th for a reason, you know? I mean, people could say, oh, look at this team or look at the way it's shaping out. I was like, well, these guys are playing the best golf. If some of the big names could play better, they'd be up there, but it's not.
He also just finished top 10 in a major championship at the PGA, finished tied for 8th out
yard.
there. He's playing good. I mean, I'm with you. I didn't think you'd possibly see Andrew Novak and Ben Griffin on the Ryder Cup team at the start of the year. I'm guessing Keegan Bradley probably didn't either, but you got to take the team that's playing the best. And right now, I mean, both these guys, I think Andrew Novak's going to make it. Ben Griffin, he's another good, solid week or two away from really putting himself in that conversation.
Novak finished 11th, I believe. Another great week for him, but that's with a 1 over on Sunday. He was somewhat in the mix in there. I mean, he seems to be playing good week after week after week. I mean, this isn't like, oh, they popped up, won one tournament, played their way into they've been doing it a lot. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting coming down the stretch. There's a lot of golf left, major championships, of course, playoffs, but we're going to see some new blood in that U.S. Ryder Cup squad. I can tell you that.
JJ Spawn, who's once again had another good week. He's in that
Stand
top
by on
12
him. Yeah.
as well. We're going to probably get to him, I have a feeling. Scottie Scheffler, just doing what he does. Didn't even play very good all week. Ends up finished tied for 4th once again.
Didn't play good. I'm sure he's out of energy. He's going to Stars games before. He just won a major. like, if I was ever going to give a free pass to anyone on like, you shoot 80-80, don't care, put no stock in it, would probably have been this week with Scottie, just with all that's going on. Props to him for playing that tournament. He wouldn't play that if it's not in his hometown. He knows what a big deal it'll be for Colonial if he commits. Also, props to Jordan Spieth for doing the same thing. They don't have to do that, but they opted to. It looked like for a minute there was a chance both could miss the weekend. And I was like, that would be a shit burger. Luckily, they got it. And Scottie... There was a chance on Sunday where if he went and did something weird, like he could have still won the thing, but he doesn't even have close to his best stuff, and he still has a great week.
Yeah, he was 49th going into the weekend, goes out there, shoots 64 where he made 3 bogeys, missed a couple short ones coming in, or he would have been right there heading into Sunday. But still, another top 5 when you don't have your best stuff just shows you how good he is. And Sleaze, he's out there, he's strapping his pill around. He's always using Golf Pride grips, because Golf Pride has been the leader in golf grip innovation and technology for over 75 years. They revolutionized the industry with the invention of the rubber slip-on grip and have continued to push the bounds of grip performance and technology ever since. Golf Pride has won more major championships than any other grip brand, and more than 80% of tour pros choose to play their grips, and not a single one is paid to do so. The all-new Align Max features raised ridge technology that fits the natural contours of your hands, promoting more consistent placement of your hands on the grip for a more repeatable swing every time. And don't forget about your putter. Golf Pride's reverse taper putter grips are engineered with a slightly larger lower section to stabilize both hands for a more square face at impact. Available in 3 distinct shapes and sizes, there is a reverse taper for you regardless of your gripping style. Right now, listeners of the pod can get 20% off a full set of up to 13 swing grips and 1 putter grip at golfpride.com with code SUBPAR20 at checkout through August 31st. Performance is in your hands with Golf Pride, the #1 grip in golf worldwide.
Can I tell you a secret?
Yes.
Change the game forever. About 5 months ago, switched to mid-size.
Oh, wow.
Do yourself a favor. Put those bad boys in your hands. I like it.
I'll be honest, my mitts are a little too small for the mid-size grip, Sleaze.
I did it by accident the first time, and I was like, I got them. I'm like, no, these are mid-size. And I was like, screw it. Let me see them. I'll just play with them for a little bit. Love them. Never go back.
Okay.
Never go back.
Go check them out over at Golf Pride. Speaking of doing some favors, we need to do the people out there some favors with our friends over at Fanatic Sportsbook. We've been a little cold lately.
Was running hot, now running cold. That's the life of a gambler, you know?
That's true.
Do need to get back in the winner's circle. JT posted, I thought, he was second after day one. I was like, oh, what a great pick. I was getting some texts.
What a great
pick. Like, I'm so smart. I know these courses. Step Straka, JT now. And just kind of slowly meandered his way back down the leaderboard. But we'll get back right. Yeah. We'll get back right.
I mean, I took Daniel Berger for a top 20, who has been just a machine this year and going to a place he's won before, goes out MCs.
You weren't the only one.
Ouch.
High on Daniel Berger
Ouch.
this year. Before we do our picks, real quick, thoughts on, it's been a year now, 2 years, I guess, since they played it, since the renovation. Colonial as a whole. I mean, we played it a ton pre-redo. Part of it's old man, like you don't want things to change. But what do you think of the how it plays since the redo?
I like some things. I don't like some things. Like I thought, one of their signature holes out there, the 13th, the par 3, the water's really not in play anymore. I told you on our radio show, like last year, there was one ball hitting the water the entire week. It was Scottie Scheffler, who just hit a fluke shot. This year on Sunday, I believe the third to last group, Bud Colley was in. He actually hit it in the water there, still finished third. But I was standing there at the drop zone, and there was 2 divots in there, and that was on a Sunday. So you're looking back the last 2 years, 3 balls in the water on what used to be a really dramatic par 3.
Yeah, I mean, it can still play tough when that wind gets swirling, but it's just not the water's not even a factor unless you do something really weird.
But as I told you, like, we look at it 1 week a year for the Colonial. And yes, we want it to play hard, we want it to be difficult. They look at it as it for 51 weeks a year, the members that play it. And those are the people that are paying for it. I do think they've made it a little easier. I mean, obviously they had perfect conditions to get it really firm and windy this past week. That's why the scores are so high. But I think over time, I think it probably will play a little easiar for the guys.
You can just bounce. I feel like you miss fairways. It's easier to get the ball on the green now that most of them aren't elevated. I love the place. It's always a place I'll hold dear to me. But I love that it's 7,100 yards, 1,200 par.
Yep.
Like it holds up.
No,
it holds
it's a great
up.
place.
So, and it's just one of the great stops on the tour.
Yeah, Fort Worth's great. Billy Bob's was rocking Saturday night.
It?
Oh, buddy, did we?
That place is dangerous.
It is dangerous. All right, well, let's make some money with our friends over at Fanatic Sportsbook. We got the Memorial this week, signature event on the PGA Tour, Jack's Place. Just an awesome golf course. This town supports this event so much. Got a great field with some massive galleries, and surprise, Scottie Scheffler is a pretty massive favorite. Rory McIlroy not in the field this week. I know a lot of people have some thoughts on that.
Interesting.
Signature event, not teeing it up. But let's get to our picks. I'm going to try to I'm gonna go top 20.
Right the ship.
I'm looking to turn this thing around.
Wade into the waters.
And you know what? He's leading our squad here in a few months at the Ryder Cup. The captain of Team USA, Keegan Bradley, hits it long, hits it high. He's been playing some great golf all year long. Possibly could be a playing captain this year. Give me Keegan Bradley, top 20 plus 150.
Plus 150. There you go. Yeah, he ain't too far out of playing. What is he, like 17, 18, something like that right now? All right, I'm staying in the top 20 realm too. Exact same odds, plus 150. I'm going with a guy coming off a good week, 6th at Colonial. He's got 4 top 10s on the year. You and I get to play with him a lot, so we see it firsthand, but ball striking's just been phenomenal all year. Currently inside the top 12 for the Ryder Cup. Also a name that you probably wouldn't have had a year and a half ago. Give me JJ Spawn.
Okay.
Top twank.
Yeah.
He's the type of guy who can play good on a Colonial type golf course or a big yard like Muirfield too. I still think he's going to pick off a win this year.
All right. Well, this will be a hell of a time to do it. Signature event, rather nice purse. Almost did it at the Players. But those are our picks with Fanatic Sportsbook this week. Follow along and make some money with us this week. I think we're back. I think this is it.
Yeah, this is gambling. This is the life of a gambler, Well,
let's get to our guest this week. He's one of the nicest guys in golf. Just had one of the most popular wins you'll ever see out on the PGA Tour Champions. But Stevie Allan joins us on Golf Subpar.
All right, we have a veteran of the game of golf with us here today. He has played all over the world, more tours than you can count. Recently became a winner on the PGA Tour Champions. Also, one of the most well-liked guys in golf, I would say. Stevie Allan is here. Congrats, brother. Good to see you.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, man. We're so pumped for you. That was awesome. Sleeves was so pumped, he texted Michael Allen.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I spaced that. Did I tell you that? Yeah.
You did. Yeah.
Oh, shit. I was like, dude, congrats. And he's like, thanks, dude. This is Michael. Also, you never send me nice shit like this.
And also that week, Michael Allen finished like next to last.
Oh, yeah. It's like dead last.
I got Michael Allen's check one time from the US Open. It's been stuck to the back of mine. And the address seemed pretty, like I looked it up and back before we had the, Google Maps, and I'm looking on the phone and on a map book, and I'm like, hey, I'll find that. No worries. Took me hours because all the streets in Arizona cut off.
Yeah.
And I'm like driving around. No, that's not it. I had to loop around. And it took me, I was like, I should have just put it in the mail.
Screw it, I'll keep it.
Whose check was bigger?
It would have been his because I never did any good in the US Open.
You finished 28th in 2005.
I did. That was my one time.
Where was 2005?
Pinehurst.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Michael Campbell.
Michael Campbell, that one?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. The New Zealander.
What a week.
Like won over or something. Like it was impossible.
It was brutal. Easily the hardest golf course I've played mentally because every pin was on the edge and you could putt off the green easily. I played with VJ the last day and he did putt off the green.
I'm sure you had some things to say.
Yeah. I was, as you said, it was my best major. I was really nervous. Started off and I was hitting it in the rough all day. So then I'm hitting the edge of the greens. So then I've got long putts, and I 3-putted 3 or 4 times the first, 7 or 8 holes, 6, 7 holes, because we get on 8, and I'm telling us, okay, stop being a pussy. You got to get your ball to the hole. You have to get it to the hole. And the very next hole on 8, pins at the back, VJ hits it at the front. He's made a run. He's only one behind, because that was when Jason Gore and Goose had terrible last days. So VJ's one behind. I'm on the green. He gets up there. I think he was bellying at the time, straight off the back of the green onto the 9th tee. And I was like, I'm not getting this ball the hole either. And sure enough, left it like 8 foot short.
That's cool though. But man, your win came obviously at a great time. You're now fully exempt on the PGA Tour Champions. I was just thinking because this week is the senior PGA Championship.
It is, and
we've all spent our whole life out there, grinding to try to play in majors, and now you're in one and you skip it.
Yes, my son's graduating this week, high school, and I also have my other 2 boys' birthdays this week. So it just was one of those. Things. If I had a really good start to the season, I was going to skip it, and obviously a win was a really good start to the season.
Go ahead and put an asterisk next to whoever wins this week.
Yeah, this don't count. Just like when Taylor Gooch ain't there. You know what I mean? 23 years, though, in between wins. It's been well documented, the Aussie Open. Like, let's talk through, like, that stretch. That's a long period of time. I guess, like, go through. You win the Aussie Open. I got to think at that point, you're like, here we go. It's on. I'm going to win everywhere. Where'd you play and how, like, your trajectory after that?
So the Aussie Open was at the end of my second year on the PGA Tour. And I played really well the second half of the year. I didn't win. I didn't even keep my card, but I kept a conditional card. But it was really good, consistent golf. So yeah, I was thinking that was going to be, time to really, I'd won in Europe. I played well in Europe. I'd had some ups and downs at that point. So I really thought that was going to be the time. And I really thought that day at the Australian Open, I'd worked out how to win because twice on that last round, I got ahead of myself. On the 7th green, I looked up and I couldn't believe I was actually 3 ahead. And missed a really easy birdie on 8, bogeyed the par 5 9. I was back to tied or 1 in front. And on the back 9, I did the same. I had a couple of birdies on 11 and 12. Stood on the 12th tee and looked up, and all of a sudden I was 3 ahead again. And then I 3-putted 13. So both times, though, that day I was really able to recenter and refocus. And so I was pretty convinced I'd learned how to win, and wasn't true.
But playing on
still remember.
Yeah, playing on the PGA Tour, like for me, playing in Dallas, it's means so much. Trying to play in front of your family and friends, and you put so much pressure. For you, being an Aussie, playing the Australian Open, like how much did that win mean to you?
It was awesome because it was in my hometown. Wasn't my home course, but it was a course that I loved. Victoria Golf Club, Jeff Ogilvy's home course.
Played it with Jeff.
In the middle of the year when it got announced it was going to be there, I was like, I'm gonna take you down there, just half joking to Jeff, but I was really looking forward to it. So we played a lot of amateur golf there. We played a lot of when I first turned pro, the Vic Open was there, the Australian PGA was there. So I loved it at the time. So I was really looking forward to it. I actually needed an invite that year because I hadn't played in Australia because I had to go to Q school every year over here. And I got the invite, and it was going to clash with second stage of Q school though. So the very last tournament at Jackson, Mississippi was, I believe, Luke Donald's first win of the PGA Tour. We got rained out on the last day, and I'd made the cut on the number to make sure that I'd finish in the top 150 and didn't have to go to second stage.
Oh wow!
So I was really close to not even playing. So it was good. It was huge. Managed to get through, and then went down and won.
Before we get back to our episode with Stevie Allan, think back to an awkward moment you've had on the course. Did it involve the rules? Knowing the rules helps you handle those situations with confidence and keeps your attention where it belongs, on your next shot. Learn the rules anytime, anywhere with Rules 101, a free online course designed by the experts at the USGA. Enroll for free today at usga.org/rules101. Download the Gen app today. Yeah, you mentioned Victoria. Obviously, so many great golf courses in Australia. I went for the first time just 2 years ago to the Asia Pacific Amateur and was in Melbourne. Played Victoria and Kingston Heath, which I just was obsessed with. And then the tournament was at Royal Melbourne. I didn't get to play it, but I walked it. But the golf down there is just ridiculous. Give me some of your, like, maybe top 3 or 4 favorites in all of Australia.
Oh, well, Royal Melbourne's my favorite course in the world. Okay. I mean, I think, I actually was lucky enough the other week to play Pine Valley, but I think Pine Valley's probably a better golf course, but Royal Melbourne's my favorite. As you know, when they get that good, it's hard to really differentiate. But I mean, Royal Melbourne, Kingston Heath, and Victoria, I think are the 3 best in Melbourne. The course I sort of grew up playing from when I was 15 onwards, Woodlands Golf Club, is a great little course, but it just doesn't quite have the same size as those ones. It's sort of a little bit smaller and tighter, and it's a fantastic golf course. If you were down there for a place to play, it's got some amazing holes. But those 3 are the standouts, I think. I
mean, just the bunkering.
We need more golf down there. Like, it's a shame they don't, like, who is it that said that the Canadian course should host the U.S. Open? Tommy Gainey, there, somewhere in Canada. He's like, they should host the U.S. Open. They should host the U.S. Open at Royal Melbourne.
Yeah.
They should have something with all the biggest names. I know Liv shows up and they go nuts for it down there. That's probably their best event.
Australia loves sport, but they really love the elite sport. So when you get the best in the world coming, they turn out as the Australian Open tennis every year in Melbourne. It's a massive event. And when we get good golfers down, people come out, as Tiger did back in the a few times back in the day. And this year Rory's coming down, so that should be at Royal Melbourne.
President's Cup's been awesome. When it's been there, they've been some of the best President's Cups.
What kind of check you think Rory's getting?
You think Rory's going down there just for fun?
He's getting a lot more than the winner will get. That's
for sure.
No
but
doubt.
Just those golf courses down there, like it's when you go down there and you look at it, it's like, wow, this is so great. It just doesn't seem like it's, well, I don't understand why we don't do it over here. Like the bunkering, how the bunkers go to the edge of the green. There's no rough in between bunkers and green. No rough between the fairway bunker and fairway. Like it just doesn't, like when you look at it, you're like, why do we not do this over here?
I agree. I think one of the things is that the Sandbelt there, that all these courses are in the Sandbelt, it allows the turf to be really firm. And what that does is, even for championship golf, you don't have to grow thick rough because the greens are so firm that if you don't get your angles right, this is where angles matter when the course is firm. They don't matter when it's soft.
Don't tell Scott Fawcett that.
People talk about the angles, and when it's soft, it doesn't matter because you can stop it from any angle. But down in Australia, if you hit it in the rough and you're at the wrong angle, you have to be conservative going into the green. And I think it's a really well balanced penalty for championship golf. You have to drive it well, but if you do hit a bad drive, you're not just chopping out. And sometimes I think the climate over here in the US, the amount of storms and rain that you get in the summer, means that to really make a course tough, you probably have to grow rough, because if you set one up like Melbourne and then all of a sudden that rain comes through and softens it up, it becomes too easy. So I don't know, it's a little bit of climate, I think, but the design part of it, I agree. The bunkers close to the fairway, close to the green, they become a real penalty, the greenside bunkers. Whereas a lot of courses over here with the softness, you almost are happy to short side it. Whereas in Melbourne, if you short side, you're in trouble.
Yeah, no doubt. Can I tell you my one complaint about Australian golf?
Here we go.
Because, over here, you don't use the trolleys like they do over in Australia. Everybody takes the trolley. You know, you push your cart and everything.
Yep.
And you got to carry your own damn sand bucket.
You do.
At all these places. I kept leaving mine because I just started the first day I used a trolley.
Yep.
And with the way the bunkers are, you have to go all the way around the bunkers and all this. I'm like, this is stupid. I'll just carry my bag. But then they make you carry a sand pail. And I kept forgetting it everywhere. Yeah. It's a pain in the ass.
It is. It's we used to actually be able to take them in Melbourne. They used to be able to take the we call them buggies in Melbourne straight over the green.
Oh, buggies.
Yeah. You used to actually wheel it, but I guess some of the grass was messing up the green, so they've got back to going around. Yeah.
I need somebody to carry my sand bucket.
You could do that abandoned for a while, like roll it over. I don't know if they still allow that or not. Is there any terrain in the U.S. that's like similar to that Sandbelt where they could potentially build something that's
I'm sure
similar?
there is. I don't know the US well enough, like all the different little pockets, but the climate in California is the closest, I guess, but the land and the sand and the soil is not necessarily the same. So
is that why all the Aussies have such good hands? Like Jeff Ogilvy to this day, I would say is the most, like watching a guy pitch the golf ball. It's the prettiest thing I've ever seen.
I think particularly bunkers, because our bunkers tend to be not fluffy. So when you come over here, it's actually quite difficult to get used to them. So we get that tight bunker lie and you really have to really nip it. So Aussies generally are great bunker players.
Makes a loud thump out of the sand.
Thump out of the sand, absolutely. The Spaniards are amazing.
The Spaniards have some good mitts.
And the Argentinians.
Yeah, true. Everywhere but America.
Yeah, we're
pretty good. We're shit.
Victoria, when you won the Aussie Open, first hole, did y'all play it as a par 4?
Par 3. They actually moved the tee. It was an old hole. It's been redesigned since. It's much better now. And they moved the tee forward to about, I'm guessing, 200 yards. So it was a really hard par 3.
When we played, I played with Jeff. It was freezing, rainy, wind. Like Jeff's like, I would not be playing if you weren't here right now. Like I live right down the road.
I wouldn't be playing if I wasn't in Australia.
Yeah. There's zero chance. It was like 275 just ripping straight downwind. Yep. It was awesome. I was like,
yeah, it's a pretty cool hole now.
And I'm pretty sure that might have been one of only 2 birdies I made that day.
But so at the time, it was actually a short par 4, but for the tournament, they moved it up.
Yeah.
And funny story about the tournament is the Australian Golf Union at the time it was called, were a bit concerned the course was going to be a little short, a little easy. So they really made an effort to firm up the greens. And if you looked at the scores, we only played 3 rounds because the first round got called off because the greens were too fast.
Oh.
And Rich Beam came down and he's like, it's the only time I've ever played a tournament where perfect weather, the course has been called off. So the greens I got to play a practice round with Jeff and Andrew Getson actually on the Friday before the tournament. Mm-hmm. So this is Friday before, and I'd heard all these rumors about how brown the greens were. And when you drove in the driveway, you looked over at the first green, you were like, whoa, it was like this table brown. And we played 2 or 3 holes and the greenkeeper came over and said to Jeff, Jeff obviously knew him pretty well. He said, what do you think? And Jeff goes, geez, it's on the edge. And the greenkeeper said, we haven't even started rolling them yet.
Oh, dear Lord. Yeah.
To this day, every single pro in the field in the practice round was like, this is ridiculous. They set the Pro-Am up with the pins at the front. And if you remember a lot of the greens, a lot of back-to-front greens, not all of them, but a lot of back-to-front greens really fast. So the Pro-Am pins were middle, frontish, and Stuart Appleby shot 7 or 8 under. I can't remember exactly in the Pro-Am. So, of course, the official's like, it's fine, it's fine. And you get out the first day and it was carnage. I was lucky I was in the afternoon. I only played 2.5 holes. I was over par and in the trees on the 3rd. And it was the actual group ahead of me where it got called off. A guy hit a chip up. I didn't see this. All I saw was him waving his arms. And what had happened is he hit a chip and it was 2 or 3 foot short of the hole. And the whole group said, good shot, and they started walking, and the next thing the ball started trickling off the green.
Oh,
and the 3rd green was one that was just a basic back-to-front tilt. There's not really much undulation. And so then his next one went past the hole. So, of course, because he didn't want to leave it short, so now he's got a 6-footer straight down the hill, and he missed it, and, of course, it was back off the front. And now the hands started waving, and, everything all went down, and they ended up cancelling the day.
I'm trying to remember the 3rd. So, like, one was the short one, then he goes up to the left, 2, and then
2 and 3 were both sort of dogleg rights.
Yeah.
Yep.
Gotcha. Uh-huh.
Yep.
So what kind of score won it? What did you shoot?
So I think I ended up having 12 under for 3 rounds. And what happened is they obviously watered them. I don't know if they fertilized. I'm not really sure what they did. But the next day he came out and they were perfect. And it was most tournaments in Australia, particularly in the Sandbelt, the greens start off at the start of the week really firm and fast, but very playable. And they let them dry out as the week goes on, much like you tend to see in the US Open or something like that. And by the end of the week, it's really hard to shoot under par. And, one day of whatever they did, they were great. So I think I ended up having, it was like 4 under, 6 under, and then a couple under on the last day.
Yeah, right ahead of, was it Rich Beam, Aaron Baddeley? I believe there were so many good, like, young Aussies, I feel like, just coming up at that point. Like Ogilvy, Baddeley, name them, who else was the young
Adam Scott played.
Adam Scott, thank you.
You ever heard of him?
Yeah, that's a real good looking dude that swings it perfect.
So I think all the best Aussies at the time, apart from Greg Norman and Elkington, were there because I think, Greg had almost semi-retired and Elk, didn't come down to Australia that often. So, so it was good. It was good to win. And Rich was the defending US PGA champion at the time. Charles Howell was down there because Charles shot 85, I think, the first day. He played in the morning. And
it's a good one to get wiped off the board.
And it got wiped off. And at the time we were not banned from betting in Australia, or here. Like the PGA Tour hadn't told us we couldn't bet. And so I'd actually put money on Jeff to win because it was his home course. And then as I looked,
that's awesome. In a tournament that you're in.
As I looked through the odds, Jeff was way over the odds. Like there was some guys from Australia that had played well and won a couple of tournaments in Australia, but little events. And Jeff I don't think he'd won on the PGA Tour yet, but he'd played really good. So I'm like, he's got to be the favorite coming to his home course. And he wasn't. So I'm like, well, that's a great. And I looked at my odds and on this particular betting site, I looked at it, I was 100 to 1. And I was offended because I knew I was playing better than that too. So I bet on myself as well that week. So,
oh, nice.
So you got not much, just, $20 and, but at 100 to 1. And the one good thing about betting on yourself, not once did you think about it when you're out there. It's too much is going on. A chance to win the tournament was too important. So
the Pete Rose of golf.
Yeah. Kick him off the tour, guys.
That's awesome.
You mentioned Greg Norman. I'm guessing he was your idol growing up, like most Aussies.
Yep.
When was the first time you met him, and did you ever get a chance to play with him?
I did. I met him the first time at the 91 Australian Open. Mm-hmm. I qualified as I was just finished high school, literally just graduated high school, and got through the Monday qualifier. I was 18. And I went out someone in one of the newspapers did a little report on me, and I was going out to the Pro-Am to watch him. It was on a Tuesday. I was going to watch him play the Pro-Am. The next day was a practice round, and he or someone around him heard about that and actually made a point of seeking me out to play a practice round on the Wednesday. So it was it was awesome. And we played with Wayne Riley, another Aussie that's was a great golfer that played in Europe a long time.
The commentator now?
Yep.
Radar?
Crazy Radar.
Dude, I'm with his group all the time out there. I mean, what a beauty he is.
Yes, and we walked down the first hole, and they knew each other pretty well. And, I'm obviously pretty nervous, and my buddy was caddying for me. And Radar goes, don't laugh at me. And he pulled out a broomstick. And Norman said, you're done. You'll never win again. And Radar won that tournament. He held a 40-footer on the last to beat Robert Allenby, who was also still an amateur.
Wow. Yeah. You'll never win again.
Yeah. And he the TV at the time, he hits the putt and it's up the tier and it drops. And then the camera goes back to him and he'd gone running off the green. The putter was on the ground and he was off running around.
God, Sleaze, you would love this guy.
I've heard about this dude. You've talked about him, other people too.
Oh yeah, he's a character.
He wears the big hat, big brim, like he tucks his microphone into his belt. I mean, and he just says the most ridiculous things. It's great. He makes TV fun.
They're all great.
And
go ahead.
I was just going to say my very first tournament when I qualified for the European Tour was in Morocco, and Radar was in the group ahead of me. And I was having a good day the first day, and 17 was a par 5 that I could not reach. So I hit 3-wood, and I flushed it. It didn't reach the green, but it obviously made that thump. And he was over a little putt, and his head snapped around like this. And I was like, oh no, I can't. If I upset Wayne Riley the first day, this is not good for me. And he held the putt, thankfully. And I think that was one of the happiest moments of him holding that 5-footer, because if he'd missed it, I would have been in trouble, and then he may not have ever talked to me again. But he was actually great to all the young guys when we started in the European Tour. So
that's awesome.
Before we get back to Stevie Allan, a word from our friends at ShipSticks. If you travel with clubs, travel without clubs, you just want to ship your luggage, our friends at ShipSticks, the only way to use it. BG, you're just down in the great city of Fort Worth. How'd you trust your clubs?
Left them at Shady Oaks. They tagged them right there, shipped them home, beat me here.
No lugging.
They're back.
No lugging. No stress, no gear, straight to the course, straight to your house, wherever you want it. It really is white glove service for your clubs and luggage. And right now, ShipSticks is offering our listeners 20% off your first shipment when you go to shipsticks.com and use the code SUBPAR20. Go to shipsticks.com, use the code SUBPAR20 to get 20% off your first shipment and save yourself the hassle this golf season. That's shipsticks.com. Make sure you use the code SUBPAR20 so they know we sent you. Now, back to Stevie Allan.
With everything that's going on in the game of golf, like, has the opinion of Greg at all changed in Australia?
I don't know. Actually, I'm not down in Australia a lot. I think, I definitely think the live thing, generates mixed responses. Mm-hmm. Greg was such a great player at the time, and he was literally Tiger in Australia.
Yeah.
Without quite winning all the majors, he came so close so often. But I'm not sure.
I mean, say what you want about it, like the Live PGA Tour. So at least he's brought some golf, you know, as big as he can to Australia, and they eat it up from what it looks like down there.
Yeah, they love it. They clearly love it.
I mean, it looks like. I mean, I don't know.
I know people from Melbourne I've heard that travel over to go watch it, and like I said, the Australians love their elite sport, and you know, in that tournament that's the best golf they get every year down there. So
just have the whole tour down there. It'd be good.
I did hear a little somebody say the other day about the PGA Championship, and being like, you know what, the PGA Championship should move outside of the United States occasionally. And somebody brought up, like, imagine having a PGA Championship at Royal Melbourne.
Yeah.
Or just anything at Royal Melbourne.
I've seen that floated on social media.
The problem is it's the PGA of America.
It's the US PGA.
Right. But also Australia starts with A. So,
okay, sure.
You know what I mean?
That works.
There you go. Go back. You mentioned your European event in Morocco. You were playing on the European tour during, like, I would call it like maybe like the heyday. There was some awesome talent out there. Like, who'd you have? Like, Monty was probably the guy.
Yep.
Jose Maria. Was Seve still?
Seve was still playing. He wasn't at his prime, but he was still playing. Yeah.
Did you ever?
Played with Seve a few times and loved it. Like, he was, I think growing up, Greg Norman was my idol. And then I think it was the 88 British Open Seve won at Royal Lytham, and Greg Norman was out injured. So I was a golf geek as a kid getting up to watch it. And Seve had that showdown with Nick Price, and he hit that amazing chip that just like had to get up and down and win, and he just like lipped it out. It was brilliant. And I think so. Seve was the first golfer that wasn't an Australian that really was a bit of an inspiration. So I got to play with him a few times. It was a lot of fun. We played in Dubai when I had a good tournament one year, my second year in Europe, and twice I chipped from the same spot as him, and both times I got it inside him, and I was like, because he's had such a great shot game. So I had this, I got to beat Seve. And then a couple of years later, we played in Qatar, and we were not playing good, either of us. And Seve was famous for, I read his book, and a few of the guys that he used to clash with, Paul Azinger and others that he clashed with in the Ryder Cup, and they really had a heated rivalry. I think Paul Azinger said he played with him in the US Open, and halfway through the last round, Seve couldn't win, but Paul Azinger still had a chance. And if I got my facts right in the book, Seve's like now trying to pump him up. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. And we were in Qatar, and I hit this, one of my very good shots for the day, straight at the pin, goes over the back of the green on a par 3. And I was a bit down, I'm walking like this, and he sort of walked past me, charging past, and he stopped, and he gave me the pat in the back. It's okay, you get it up and down. And I was like, yes, I can.
Yeah, you're right, Seve.
It was very cool to be around Seve when I was playing.
Yeah, he's one of the like ones that everyone's like special to everybody.
Yep. That's really cool. You mentioned you just went to Pine Valley as well. Pine Valley and Marion, I was told.
I was not at Marion, actually. My friends played Marion the day before.
I got shitty sources as usual.
They're all, we have about 500 on getting shit right.
Same friend that was caddying for me when I played with Greg Norman in the practice round. He is now an international member of Pine Valley. So every now and again, I get to tee it up with him. It's a lot of fun.
Beautiful. Yeah, I've been a couple times. I know he's been a few times. I mean, it's as far as like a collection of 18 holes, it's probably the only place I've ever played where I'm like, there's not a bad hole on this place.
100%. I think that's why I think when I talk about the best course I've played, I think that has to be the best course.
Yeah.
How about the dinners there too? Good Lord.
Fantastic.
The whole place, it's tucked in there. You can't see like many other holes when you're there. You feel like you're alone at times. Like it's just.
And good atmosphere.
The
like
par
you said,
3 course, the short course is awesome.
Short
course mimics the real holes.
Yep. And the dinners are great, but the atmosphere, everyone's having a good time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of cocktails flowing around there.
Yeah, it's way less like uptight than you know, there's some courses that take them, like they're really cool. And everyone there is like, this is their bucket list trip of their life. So everyone's happy. It's like Disneyland.
The putting green outside the cabins with lights on it.
Nice.
I mean, there's nothing better.
Yep.
You get out there about midnight. Oh boy. Some fun things going on out there.
We'll give you a deep one here, since we've been talking about you're going on 30 years playing professional golf.
Yep.
People call you a journeyman. There's a lot of guys that get called that. Everyone that's played for this long, I feel like goes through this moment at some point. But did you ever get close to being like, dude, that's it. I'm done. I don't want to chase anymore.
Yes, but not really. I think, I lost my card on the PGA Tour. I lost it at the end of 2005, but got it back for 2007, 2008, 2009, and then lost it in 2009. And lost it completely. Like didn't even finish top 200. So I was no Corn Ferry. So that's a bit of a reality check. But I still felt like, it was only 12 months ago at the end of 2009. It was only 12 months from the end of 2008 when I had maybe my best little run on the tour. I'd had an awful start to 2008. And in the end of 2008, I finished, I think it was 3rd at Turning Stone where Dustin Johnson won his first tournament.
First one.
I finished 7th here at Greyhawk where I was sort of almost pushing for the lead and messed up the end. I think there was a 4th at Mississippi as well. And so it's like, I'm not that far removed from that. So I feel like it's still there. So at that point, I'd been on the PGA Tour, I had enough money in the bank to chase it for a couple of years. I obviously having no status was a bit of a reality check. I was lucky that through the Australian tour at that time, they were setting up this tour called One Asia. And, a lot of the best Australians weren't playing One Asia because they were all on the PGA Tour, the European Tour, the Japanese Tour. So I was able to get a few invites, and that sort of kept me going for a couple of years. I got my status back on the Corn Ferry. I had a couple more rough years, and then I was really close to getting back on the tour I think it was at the end of 15 on the Corn Ferry. Like literally, I'd played the first 3 playoff events and I was inside the number and I missed the cut in the last one. So, you're always sort of close. I think I play, eventually lost my Corn Ferry card too. And then I'm playing in 18, not very well. And then 19, I played genuinely well through the year. I made it through all 3 PGA Tour Mondays. I was really close in a lot of Mondays. You know how hard Mondays are. The amount of times I'd missed by one. I was in a playoff, the famous one where Corey Connors won the playoff and then won that same week. I was in that playoff. So I played well enough not to give it up. And by this point, I'm deep into my 40s. I'm like, the Champions Tour is on the horizon. So unfortunately, that year I got really sick at Q School, so I couldn't play. And then we had the COVID years. So next thing, it's a few more years down the track. And, at that point, I really knew I wanted to give the Champions Tour a crack because, I still loved playing the game. I still like competing. And it was just a matter of getting to 50. And then, as you know, it's one of the hardest tours to get on. So it was no guarantee, but I was going to give it a crack. So
you did it. Now you got to win at the Galleri Classic. Would you say that, considering the lesson Cam Percy gave you the week of, that he's a better instructor than he is player?
He's pretty good. He knows his stuff for sure. He had played with me the week before, and then I saw him on the range, and it was really good tip. It worked in with a lot of the things I've been working on. You can't see yourself when you're doing some of the drills, and I sort of wasn't doing them necessarily correctly. And it sort of just clicked into place that week. I also that was on Monday, and it felt better as soon as he was sort of gave me the tip. And then I also went on Tuesday morning to see a guy, Dr. Scott Lynn, that does force plates that Greg Chalmers had sort of told me about. It was the first time I'd ever been on them. And he had given me a drill, which basically really matched what Cam had said. So the combination of the two, I was hitting the ball, great. I mean, and really solid just the whole week.
Cam told us that you can give the 5% you owe him to us. Just let you know.
I've definitely got to get Cam something. I haven't worked out what it is yet.
Fun fact, I played with him in my one tour start in my
Cam Percy?
Yeah, it was fucking great. Helped me look for a lot of my balls.
you can drop here, Drew.
I think after I was like, dude, I'm sorry. I'm hitting it. This slowing up play. Like, where do I drop?
Mayakoba, if you're not hitting good, is not a fun place to play.
Yeah, there's a whole long story behind that, but we'll spare you that.
Back in the day when we played Mayakoba in February, which is when he played it. I mean, the fairways were firm. That place was a bowling alley.
It was fun.
It was wide, but as soon as that wind came in, some of those crosswind holes,
you miss one. It's
you get one drawn down the left side. It was gone.
You're done.
Yep.
Before we get back to our interview with Stevie Allan, a quick word from our friends at Nutrafol. Taking care of your hair is just another way to level up, like hitting the gym or dialing in your short game. Nutrafol's clinically tested formulas target thinning at the root, so you could show up feeling confident all summer long. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist-recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1.5 million people. See thicker, stronger, faster-growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. Thinning hair is different for men and women, so a one-size-fits-all approach to hair growth doesn't cut it. Nutrafol has multiple formulas for men and women that are tailored to different life stages such as postpartum or menopause, and lifestyle factors such as plant-based lifestyle, so you can get just what you need. Plus, users of Nutrafol Men reported no impact to sexual performance. Important. Building a hair growth routine is easy. Order online, no prescription needed. Enjoy free shipping, automated deliveries, and up to 20% savings with a Nutrafol subscription. Plus, get free naturopathic doctor consults and a Headspace meditation membership. Start your hair growth journey with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter promo code SUBPAR. Find out why Nutrafol is the best-selling hair growth supplement brand at Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code SUBPAR. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code SUBPAR. Back to Stevie Allan. Go into that final round at the Gallery. 23 years, like we said, since you last won. What's the mental like going into that? I mean, is there any doubt in your mind, like, dude, I know I can win, but it's also like, it's been a long time since I've done it.
There was. I guess I'd kind of skipped over it, but I had a really good chance to win a couple of times on tour. One, I clearly could have in Milwaukee when Kenny Perry kind of mowed me down. I didn't finish strong, but it wasn't a disaster. It just didn't happen. But Reno, I completely messed up. I was standing I clearly got way ahead of myself in Reno. I hit the fairway in the last. I was 2 ahead. I'm like, this is it. I've won, And then the cameraman moved. I got a bit flustered, and I kind of lost, I lost control a little bit, and I duffed my shot into the green, hit my wedge shot thin out of the fairway, greenside bunker, hit a great chip, but I get over the 4-footer wind and my hands are literally shaking. I've read about people talking about that, literally shaking. I think that's the only time in my career, literally they were shaking. And I got to a play, so I doubled the last and fell back into a playoff. And I had no chance in that playoff. I was stunned. I was still in shock. People said the right thing to me, but it's like I needed like a Stevie Williams caddy to just grab me and say, "You've still got a chance in this. What are you doing?" And my caddy said the right thing at the time. My wife was there. Even Hunter Mahan, who I played with, was in the playoff. He even said to me we got more golf to play. But I was stunned. I'd really, so many times since then, I've sort of said to myself, if you had at the start of that week, if you'd told me you're going to be in a playoff, I would have said, that's awesome. I've never won on the tour. That would be great. It doesn't matter what happened to get there. But at the time, I didn't really understand or was able to pull myself back and do that. And so I knew that I was giving myself a break going to the last round of the Gallery. I just wanted to play well, which I did have that attitude in the Australian Open when I won. I just wanted to play well. I can't control what the other guys do. And I even said to my son, who was caddying for me, look, I don't want you to look at the scoreboard. Sorry, I'm not going to look at the scoreboard. You need to pay attention to it to the last few holes, but I'm not going to look. I just need to play well. And I got off to a great start and I played really well. Hold a couple of really good putts, playing with Tag, who ended up coming second, and Steve Alker, who obviously is basically the best player in the Champions Tour the last 3 years. And he birdied the first hole straight out and I followed him in, which, it's only one shot, but it felt like a really good thing to do to follow him in. I missed the third green. He made a birdie. I had about a 6 or 7 foot for par, made it to stay one ahead, which same thing, felt like a good. And then I made a few birdies in the front nine. All of a sudden, I'm sort of 4 ahead. And I'd sort of said to Liam at the time, look, that's the easy part. Even though it was the hard part, it's the easy part. Now I've got to keep going. Mm-hmm. And I played well on the back nine. I missed a couple of putts that really could have kept me going. And then Tag started to make a run. And I sort of even said to Liam at the time, listen, this is the same thing as the Australian Open. Like if I'm 1 ahead with 3 to go, I would kill for that at the start of the week to be 1 ahead with 3 to go.
Yeah.
And then 16 comes, Tag hits it stiff. You could tell by the crowd that it was stiff because they're like, not that we had massive crowd, but it was enough that you could tell. And I was in the right rough with a wedge, hit a pretty good one. And I even said to Liam Time, well, even tied with 2 to go, it's a great spot to be. I would take that. And I managed to make that putt, which was huge and kept me ahead. So I had a really good, I wasn't going to be too hard on myself. I wasn't like, you have to win this, you're desperate to win. I was just trying to really play it and take it as it came. And, obviously things worked out. Hit a couple of, really good shot in there, really good putt, really good shot into 17. Tag had hit a good shot. You couldn't tell how close it was. It looked like it was a little past. As it turned out, it was. But I sort of matched it with a really good shot. So it was really good to play well when it meant something and play well sort of down the stretch.
Well, I know it was a very popular win.
Yeah.
No doubt about that. Really, I mean, everybody out there loves you. We don't have a ton of time left, so we got to get to the E9 real quick. And we mentioned earlier. I got to
get my phone for this.
You got okay. Okay. So we'll start it off with this because we mentioned, did you ever think about hanging it up? Yep. So if you weren't a professional golfer, what would Steve Allan be doing?
I think back in the day, I liked photography, so I think I could have got into that. I don't really know. I'd made up my mind in my teens that I was going to have a crack at this, so I don't really know. I think I love sports. I've always loved sports. I probably would have gravitated towards something in sports.
Your Aussie rules team, what are they called again?
St Kilda Saints.
St Kilda.
Yeah.
Heard you're slightly passionate about them.
Yeah, I love it. My dad took me to their games when he was a kid. At the time, they played in a lot of suburban grounds, and yeah, I love it. And I think, I don't know, it would have been probably something in sports, photography I was interested in. So Stevie
Allan, the rugby player.
Aussie rules, not rugby.
Yeah, Aussie rules.
Different game.
What the hell? Is it
like
not the same? No, okay, my bad. I don't even know the difference. I thought it was just all rugby. All right, here you go. You get to be the judge. Bigger Australian heartthrob.
Oh my
there's a
God,
lot.
No way. This is a question.
Adam Scott
Yeah.
or Greg Chalmers?
Clearly Greg Chalmers.
Yeah, I think it's the right answer.
I had Aaron Badley or Greg Chalmers.
Oh, you did?
I swear to God, it's my first question.
I was with Greg at Flint, Michigan last year, and someone asked me, is that Retief Goosen over there? So Greg's clearly looking pretty good if someone mistook him for Retief.
Oh, I thought, okay.
And then this year, I was out with Cam Percy and a lady, this was at Boca this year, a lady asked me, she came over and she says, "Oh, sorry, I thought you were Fred Couples." And I just went, yes. Yep, I must be looking good.
I am. Would you like me to sign anything?
I was wearing my hat, so she couldn't see the red hair. But
you want to see my green jacket?
me and Freddie, we look the same.
Who the hell's out there watching?
These old senile ladies.
I thought you were going to say Greg Chalmers was swinging. I was like, he's not even the same. He's left-handed.
God, that's great.
That's a good one. If you're going to be confused for someone,
absolutely,
that ain't a bad one.
Yeah.
All right, next one, a little simple one here. How does boiled bacon taste?
Boiled bacon? I don't know. I don't think that's a big Australian thing. Boiled bacon.
Not.
No.
But I heard you didn't know how to cook it all and you were living with Greg Chalmers and you said, "How do I cook this?" And they told you to boil it.
Maybe.
Well, here's what you do.
I can say to this day I'm not a good cook and I still am not a good cook. So
You lived with Greg in London, right?
Greg and Matt Goggin and John Wade. And then Stephen Allan crashed on the couch for about 6 weeks because he came over and was playing the Challenge Tour. And
Wow,
he
what a
sort of
house.
kept having top tens and kept going.
Just the good old days, huh? Just
It was good fun. Yeah,
Just having a good time, the fellas.
Greg said he went to the store, comes out with some bacon. He's like, "How do I cook this?" And he's like, "Just boil it,
How
mate."
do I cook boiled bacon? I don't know, dude. All
What
right,
are
this
friends
doesn't
for?
count as one because I think it was Greg when we had him on that we talked about Vegemite.
Yep.
Is it Vegemite?
Yeah.
Is that right? Are you a yay or a
Yeah,
nay
love
on
it.
that?
Love it. You have
Didn't he not?
Yeah, I don't think he did, but
Somebody's a no that's from Australia.
You have to make it right though. So when we give it to someone over here, there's always that 50-50. You want them to like it or do you want to play a prank on them and make it really disgusting? And they'll never like it. So if you put too much on, it's disgusting. You have to really just spread it lightly on. I eat it on toast, spread the butter on, and then spread a little bit of Vegemite on, and it's
good.
Yeah.
Okay.
in meat pies.
Like them, don't
that's-
love them, but like them.
Like them.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, like them, not love them. All right,
Yep.
that's fair. That was just a bonus ball. Here's just a regular golf one. Best player you ever played with. You've been around. You played all the continents, all the stuff. Best player who never made it that you played with.
Ooh, best player who never made it. Oh, that's I don't know. I'd have to think about that. Nothing comes straight to mind. There's a few good mini tour players here in Arizona that
In
didn't.
the Corn Ferry, I feel like there's normally some dudes like you're like, man, that guy's gonna do it.
Yeah.
I got.
I'll
give you an Aussie. Just that I thought. I mean, he obviously did okay, but not as good as I thought he would do. Alistair Presnell.
Yeah. I feel I was really good friends with Al, and I think that I felt like he quit too quickly. Like when he was on the tour, dropped back on the Corn Ferry, and then he was kind of done. But he moved back to Australia. He's got a couple of kids now, so his wife had just given birth to Max when he quit. So
Lee.
I can understand that.
I'll never forget her. Man, you'd have liked her, Sleaze. Lee had it going on.
Lee?
Yeah, she probably still does.
Shout out Lee if you listen.
She was. There are not many people in the
slide
Corn
into the
Ferry Tour
DMs,
galleries.
Lee.
President Lee had us around for dinner at Christmas. Actually, my whole family went down for Christmas.
Oh.
First time in a long time, and they're doing well.
Send her my best. I don't really care about Alistair. Can I tell you a funny story about him? Actually, we were playing Corn Ferry event, Knoxville, and we both have like 6 feet on this hole for par. And I was like, "Al, me or you?" And he's like, "I'll go." Okay. He hits this putt and it horseshoes. And he goes, "Lick me where I shit." I had to back off like 3 times. I could not stop laughing.
That's good. I've heard a lot of things.
Yeah.
I hadn't ever heard it quite like that.
Yeah. Oh, man. I haven't thought about that
Might
in
use
so
that.
long. And it's a good one.
Will he mind if I use
Alistair
that?
Presnell, I
Start
don't
using
think
that?
so.
I'd say it on like every
You won't
shot.
mind at all.
That's a good one. Yeah. Love that guy.
Who just asked? Is it me?
I don't know. I'm still distracted
All
by
right,
Lee.
here, I'll go right here. Your son Liam, he was on the bag, right?
Yep.
Graduating, heading off to college to play golf. Shout out to him. Very good player. But was he hesitant to take your bag, being that most of your caddies don't last too long?
No, he does a really good job. He's really calm and level-headed. I definitely don't like it when caddies do too much. Especially you think about it. Not only have I played for a long time, but then once you've lost your card, you're playing mini tours for a long time, and you're doing it all on your own. So then all of a sudden, the caddies come and want to do too much, and that I find frustrating.
Yeah. They got the life expectancy of a mosquito over with Stevie boy.
The TaylorMade burner hybrid definitely lasted longer than your caddies.
It did.
God, what a
God, I think it was
those were
beautiful.
legendary.
Just a side question, just for my next one. But did you happen to be here when Kevin Stadler won the Phoenix Open and had the ridiculous party afterwards?
I was not at the party. I wish I was.
You heard stories about it, though.
Yep.
So which
Yep.
one do you think was more wild, that party or your one at the Bo Morris house?
That was a pretty good party. I haven't had many parties. That was pretty good.
I heard like the whole damn tour showed up.
They did. It was after the Aussie PGA at Victoria, and a lot of the tour. I basically invited everyone on the tour. my good friend Sean Bakes, that's a member at Pine Valley. He was basically living with me at the time. I'd bought the house and moved out, and then we had Sean and I are really good friends with JJ West, who is now the GM at Monterey Peninsula Country Club, and he was in town because he was playing the Aussie Tour at the time, and we had a big night. It was great. Jeff was in full force.
I heard he was the DJ.
He was my cousin had loaned us a jukebox to have, and the police came at whatever time, it wasn't that late, like 2, 12 or 1 in the morning. And Jeff's like, I'll pay the fine. And at this point, I'm like, I don't want to get in too much trouble. So the policeman, whatever he said. And I came back in and I said, it's going to be $5,000. And Jeff was like, we can all chip in and pay the fine.
Hey, Jeff, thought you were going to pay the whole thing.
It was very funny. It was a good night. And a few of the boys, Craig Spence, that used to live here in Arizona.
Yeah.
He'd had his best year, and he had a few of the boys kicked on into the city and came home when I was waking up in the morning. So yeah, it was good fun.
Hello, officer. My name's Fred Couples.
Yeah, that's what you should have gone with.
Nice to meet you. All right. How many, this math is courtesy of the ACC head pro, Nigel Spence. Shout out Nigel, good Aussie himself.
Yep.
How many 1-hour lessons would you have to give to make what you made for your win on the Champions Tour? We'll check your math here.
He told me that, but I can't remember.
You want to know it?
Yeah.
Some shit pot of lessons.
Yep.
Well, 2,200 lessons.
Yep, that's a lot of lessons.
Yeah, that's
you need to charge more.
You got to up that rate now. You're a champ, dude.
Forget the amount. You got to charge more.
Cool thing though that he did mention that I want to bring out. You got your tour card, you got your Champions card last year, and like you're teaching, right? And like you're playing now, like things have changed a little bit, and like there's still, I think there's a young kid out there that you still would go out on like Wednesdays, middle of the summer, no one else out there, and like still teach that kid, even though you like didn't need to, which is a cool thing that you do.
I did with the kid for a while, but then he wanted to do it every week, so I couldn't keep going. So, but any of the members that were getting lessons with me, I'll still do it if I'm home. So there hasn't been many. There's probably only been 8 or 10 this year, but yeah, I'll still do it. If
I could
someone
use
wants
a little
one.
look. I'm a little laid off.
Are you?
Always.
Saw a few videos from the 4-ball.
Yeah, it's all right. It was slotted.
All right. Which one of your nicknames do you like better, Babyface Assassin or Plugger?
Babyface Assassin.
I don't know. I didn't give myself either of them. I didn't really like either.
Nobody
of them,
gives themselves their nicknames.
The Plugger one clearly stuck, and that was because a guy from my football team was one of the best players, and obviously I was a big fan. I was more of a fan of him than Greg Norman growing up. And our coach at the time, Dale Lynch, who was Jeff's coach and my coach for the longest time, he was our state team coach, and started calling me that, and all the team started doing it, and it just kind of stuck. So I don't know. I don't know.
Babyface Assassin. That's great.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
It doesn't last anymore. It's like wrinkle fake. Because I looked really young when I started on the European Tour.
You still look like a baby. You haven't aged your day. You don't have any whiskers or anything.
By the way, nobody gives themselves their nickname other than Parker McLaughlin.
True.
The Shizzy.
He's the only one.
I got a few friends too. But those are both good options.
Yep.
Stevie,
hold on, I got one more.
Oh, you got one more?
We got distracted because we had the same one. This is okay. Okay. Would you say your snoring more closely resembles a grizzly bear or a potbelly pig?
No, I know you got that from Greg Chalmers.
I got that from a lot of people, by the way.
Tough roommate, huh?
Yeah, I wouldn't room with me. And the funny thing is, I hate rooming with someone else that snores too. So I really, when I dropped off the tour and I'm on the Corn Ferry, now you have to start paying attention to your finances. Alistair Presnell said, "You want a room together?" And I was nervous because I really didn't want to wake him up all the time, but he can sleep through anything.
I heard you can wake up through the walls. You can hear you snoring.
I can't hear myself snore.
Yeah, I need a video
wake
of this.
Me up.
That's right.
God, I had one like put you up with Andres Gonzalez and see let's see if the earthquake meter goes off. He was a problem.
And Prez can snore pretty good too, and so I got some good earplugs and they actually worked, and it worked well. I had a great time rooming with him.
I love it.
Yeah, as long as
this has been a blast, man. We really appreciate you coming in, and congrats.
We're proud of you, man. Yeah. Congratulations.
Thanks,
Keep it up. I know you will.
You too.
Thanks for the time.
Keep up the podcast.
We'll get fired in a moment.
We're trying, but thanks for joining us, man. Appreciate it.
No worries.
All right, that was Stevie Allan joining us on Golf Subpar, one of the nicest dudes. I just love this. By the way, how about skipping a major championship? Family comes first. I get it, but I did have to laugh. Like, you work your ass off your whole career to play major championships. Now you're eligible, and you're like, nah, I got something else to do.
That's a nice perk, though. For the first time in forever since he started playing, basically, he's got some job security. He knows he's going to be out there. It really is cool when you see guys like Stevie, who's loved by everyone he knows. He's chased it all around the world. He's been really good. He's had his chances. He was out there for a while, but when he's kept with it. and then to have success on the Champions Tour, which I hope he parlays into lots of years of success, because there's not an easier guy to root for than him. And when you say journeyman, like, that's it. Mm-hmm. That's a journeyman.
The babyface assassin. Actually, he mentioned Wayne Riley in the pod, who is now a commentator for Sky Sports. Great player back in the day. I was like, I was walking with him in the fairways at Colonial. I was like, your name actually came up on the pod. He's like, why? What did I do? And I was like, no. I was like, Stevie Allan brought you up playing his first time with Greg Norman. He's like, oh yeah, practice round at such and such place. He remembered all about it. But also awesome. Had some very nice things to say about Stevie.
Yeah,
Shocking.
I kid you not. I mean, he won out there. He's still going and giving lessons to kids. I don't think his rates changed. He doesn't have to. It's the middle of summer. It's 108 degrees. And he's like, oh no, I got a lesson at 3. And they're the only people in Phoenix playing golf that day. Just as good as they come, really.
Yeah, he's a great dude, a great father. And Father's Day is coming up, and nothing beats a custom gift he'll actually wear. I just grabbed a few Birdie Juice tees. The process was super easy, and they turned out great. You can do the same. Pick your favorite logo, choose from polos, hats, hoodies, and more, all from top golf brands. Make it personal. Make it quick, just in time for Father's Day. Go to shop.golf.com and get Dad something he'll actually use.
I'm giving my dad a shitload of Birdie Juice.
Hell yeah.
Because I love him.
That's right.
That's how much I love him.
I like
I'm giving
that.
him a lot of short sleeves, long sleeves, all of it. Love you, Dad.
I'm not your dad, but you can get me something.
Your dad doesn't know how to listen to podcasts, but if you do stumble upon this, Dad, I love you.
All right. Well, I'm heading up to Memorial.
Yes, sir.
It's maybe a few milkshakes. That's what they're known for around Jack's place.
They bring the boys to the yard.
Yes, they will.
They do.
Everyone but Rory McIlroy.
They do. What? We got our top 20 picks. Who do you like outside Scottie this week? Champion.
Patrick Cantlay's record is ridiculous
really
around there, so I'll go with him.
Really good around there. I tell you what, it would be nice is if Tommy Fleetwood could just get one. Wouldn't it be so nice? Like, man.
The king of top 5.
What's his top 10s now? How many he got? 37 without a win?
A lot.
He's the leader.
I believe it's higher than that.
Now, it's a lot. Man, I would
if you can get a bet on Tommy Fleetwood to birdie the 72nd hole on Sunday to finish top 5, bet it right now. It's unbelievable. He birdies it every time.
He finishes top 10 in like more than 1 out of 4 starts. I think he has 159 tour starts or something like that. And he's got, so it's like 40 top 10s.
Yeah, it's nuts. He's
Give
a stud.
him one. Let's get the kid over the hump.
That'd be a very popular win.
Without question.
All right. Well, thanks to our guest, Stevie Allan. Make sure you go to the Fanatic Sportsbook, download the app, and we'll talk to you on next week's Subpar.